Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is an upcoming fantasy mmorpg inspired by the likes of Everquest, Final Fantasy XI, Vanguard Saga of Heroes, and World of Warcraft Classic. It's the brainchild of legendary Everquest developer Brad McQuaid and has been carried on in his memory by a small indie team of dedicated developers, including creative director Joppa Perkins. And I got to sit down for a chat with Joppa Perkins with some of my favorite content creators. And we got to delve into Halnir Cave. I can't really do anything with that exposed.
No.
Oh,
move. Out of the ravage. I got slowed for something. Something weird happened.
I don't think I have like any way to taunt this. Oh, Joppa's down. Is it on me? It's on me. It's on me.
I have no
I'm so can't do it. Ah, shit. It gets better than that. Promise. We ask questions ranging from about the Bard class and epic quests to more open-ended questions like how he feels about the current state of the game, UI issues, questing, and of course, perception. So let's jump right in.
Hi everyone, my name is Malkel. I'm here today in Halnir and I'm playing the Wizard. We're level 10 here. You can find me at the same channel names, Malkel, and on Twitch at Malkel.
Okay, I'll go now. That's me, right? Yeah, Man of Rohan. I am playing a warrior, and that's with this group, level 10 warrior. And I am at Man of Rohan on YouTube and Twitch as well when I do it. So mostly it's music. So, but if you wanna hear that music about Pantheon, please come over.
Hi, I'm Natsuna. I'm a level 10 shaman, and I stream over with Malkel over on his channel.
Hey everybody, my name is Joskar. I am playing a level 9 necromancer. You can find me on my Twitch gaming channel, which is twitch.tv/Joskar, or my DJ Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/JoskarSpins.
And then finally, our guest of honor, Joppa.
Hey everybody, it is Joppa. Good to see you. I am really glad to be here. It's awesome to get to play with actual members of the community like this. So this is a lot of fun. I'm playing level 10 Cleric. I am going to try to appear as if I am good at this game that I'm working on. I will admit I'm a little rusty. I don't get to play as often as I like, so this is actually a nice bit of practice for me. But excited to be here. You can check out my streams at twitch.tv/JoppaVash. You'll find me there on YouTube as well. And let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to heal like a boss.
And I'm Redbeard Flynn, and I am playing a level 10 ranger for this death run. So I'm actually a little concerned, Joppa, because I've seen some of your streams recently, and you seem to die a lot on your streams, even in GM mode.
And because I'm about to clap this bag dropper. Nope. Oh.
So is that some of the gameplay that we should be expecting as we delve into this zone, this dungeon that's been in the game for how long has Halnir been in now? It's a couple of months at this point. Halnir Cave.
Well, I'm glad you called it gameplay, because that's exactly what it is. Yes, we should be able to expect some of that same gameplay, which is me heroically sacrificing myself for the group. That's kind of how I roll. So, but we'll see how it goes.
Right. Let's move in. We're here at the entrance of Halnir, and there's obviously a group here because with Pantheon, it is a shared dungeon. It's not an instance dungeon, so we can't exactly fight over them. So we're gonna move in a little bit. We're gonna follow Malkel, because if you're not familiar with this channel at all, then I'm bad at games, but Malkel's actually good at games. So that's why we're following Malkel a little bit here.
Oh goodness. pressure's on now.
The pressure's on, so if we fail, it's all your fault, Malkael.
Typical. I was planning on playing Joppa.
Before we go too far, can I show... can we get close to this little crystal here? You see our screens starting to get a little green, a little toxic. And this is a part of what would this be called, Joppa? Because this isn't a climate, right? So, or is it a climate? The toxicity in Halnir as you stand next to these green crystals too long.
Yes, this is an example of climate. There are 6 climates. You'll notice if you open your inventory screen, click the acclimation tab, you'll see 6 symbols going across the middle of that window. Each of them represents a distinct climate in the game. These crystals are an example of the toxic climate.
Very good. The other one that's currently in game that we have seen is the what is it called? The frigid? Is it the frigid climate? The snow.
Frigid climate, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I have died to several times.
It's meant to be somewhat of an immersive, environmentally consistent way of creating soft barriers, if you will, to certain parts of the game. This dungeon, we're still building out the acclimation volumes in this dungeon. So this is actually the only part of Halnir Cave where you'll see this toxic climate, but it's meant to be pervasive throughout the dungeon and is going to make it a lot difficult for you to climb in certain areas. And it'll be, kind of an additional element at play in certain key boss encounters where you're dealing with the toxic climate just as much as you're dealing with the combat mechanics themselves.
Very good.
Well, it's already a pain in that room, by the way. So.
Other things in the world that are basically just more of a challenge than just the enemies you're facing, which are already a significant challenge. Like these little cyrachnids right here, which are what was they're environmental enemies? Is that? I'm blanking on all the names.
We call them ambient NPCs, which is kind of maybe a weird name, but that's just kind of the name we ended up giving them as we're going through development. They're very, very low health, very easy and quick to kill, but if you don't kill them, they do a ton of damage. So it's just a little additional element to be aware of when you're moving through dungeon areas like this. And they can be in all different shapes and sizes.
So what have we, Malkael, what have you taken us to here?
Are you with me?
Wait, are we not? Oh, we're not with you. Where did you go? Oh wait, where are we?
I'm at the vendor.
We're at the vendor. Wait, where are you? Oh yeah, we're here. Yeah.
I'm here. Okay, right over here. I was heading us towards a little named camp over here that would lead us to the Outcast. So right around this corner here, we have...
there's 2 already.
We have friends.
There's already 2. There's a Ravager.
Oh, I'm dead.
I've gotten this one.
Nope, our CC is dead. Watch
the...
We have 3. Yeah.
I'm gonna root the Cabalist if we can get the Ravager.
We have 2. We have 2. Yep. If you can root the other one too.
Switch it back. I was like, let me switch back to the one that's less. Well, neither of them are.
I'm trying to get enough open to do a... Oh, we've got the Cabalist. Wait, how many do we have? We still have 2, right?
I'm on the Ravager.
Oh, we have 3 already. Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to do his...
We may be in trouble. I have... Yeah, I'm trying to open 2 and I'll keep missing. So this isn't helping very much. Oh, our tank is dead.
I'm out of mana.
Well,
perfect.
Yeah.
So this game is difficult. This is what I really like to show is that there are some difficult things in this game that you have to take on as a challenge every now and then. And now we get the opportunity to explain the death penalty that currently exists in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. The current death penalty in Pantheon is you lose 5% of your experience that you had once you get past level 5, and everything that you had in your inventory goes away. It's on your corpse, as well as your money. However, for people fans of early classic EverQuest, you do get to keep your gear, so there's no naked corpse runs, and there are ways to mitigate the corpse run in general, like corpse summoning, which unfortunately our Necromancer, who is level 9, does not have that spell because it's at level 12. But also summoners have corpse summon as well. And of course, resurrections, which won't help us get our corpses. But that's our first wipe. Well done, everybody. That might have been a record.
So what happened there?
Someone kind of face-pulled, and that led to 3 mobs. I would assume that it might have been our Necromancer since he was the first to go.
I'm gonna blame the wizard.
Attacked.
I think jumping down from there is dangerous. That's what I
It's fine as long as you jump out of line of sight.
Losing your CC, your crowd control in a pool, is difficult. Which I think is actually a good segue for people that may or may not know that Pantheon has not 3 roles, but 4 roles. And the Necromancer in Pantheon is a bit different because they fill that support role. Also, like the Enchanter. Are they still here? Or are they? Oh, they're still here. It's a shame that they don't move in a little bit and make this a little bit softer of a start for us. But
we want to go in. That's where the adventure is. We don't know what lies forward.
That's true. Death. But while we get situated for our return, I did have let's just start with a community question for you, Joppa, if you're up for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from Diasuko, and they have it's a bit of a lengthy one. And it's in 2 parts. So we'll start with the first question. I'm going to read it out to you as a quote. They say, "Loving the game. Thanks for giving us an enjoyable game. But I can't imagine raiding with 40 people right now. Everywhere is a box info window over everything. There isn't much flexibility to change anything to make it more comfortable for yourself. Is this going to change?" So basically a question about the UI, that whole thing in the game right now. Is there anything you can tell us about future plans for the UI, for expanded windows, for raid windows, those kind of things that would be kind of a clutter for players at the moment?
Yeah. One of the most consistent questions I actually get asked is exactly that, and it's usually coming from a few different places. Some people, it's the spell effects and being able to turn them off or reduce the opacity. Some people, it's the nameplates and having similar control. For some, it's the aesthetic of the UI. For some, it's the floating combat text. I mean, it's really, there's a huge gamut categories, and it all can be put under that same umbrella of needing to introduce more customizability, more control to the player, to get the UI information that they need and are comfortable with, and be able to omit the rest. That is absolutely part of our development game plan. We are, however, we don't currently have a UI/UX person on the team. And so a lot of what we have right now, we've put together just kind of from instinct and putting some basic functionality in place. So it's understandable that the UI is not really everybody's cup of tea right now. It will definitely be improved. But hold on a second. Oh, you know what? I lost a level, and so that's why I'm sitting here trying to shield and I can't. I forgot that I lost a level. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely on the radar to be improved, and we hope to hire somebody at some point in the relatively near future who can focus exactly on that, improving the visuals of the UI, the functionality of it, the user experience, and that will include all of those customization options that players are hungering for right now.
Very great. Oh, Ravage. Oh, and we got a Stalker now too.
We got a Stalker as well.
If you can mez.
I'm coming back. Coming back.
Oh, Jaskar. Where are you?
There you go. So there's the mez right there. That's Jaskar is channeling the mez on the Stalker so that we can deal with the Ravager, who is very deadly.
Yeah.
And has a frontal cone
I'm
attack.
running through when the Ravage happens.
Okay.
Rather than try to run to the side. It's just easier.
Did you? I used my exposed too. Were you able to take care of it?
I can't close anything.
Oh, I thought that's what you wanted me to do.
I got it. No, I can't. I was saying I
okay.
want to take Ravage. I want to take exposure off my bar.
Oh,
I
okay,
can use
yeah.
another.
Yeah.
I turned the expose into
We haven't-
the thing
Oh,
we see
we
on
have
there
a
already.
creeper.
Susceptible.
We have a
We
creeper.
have.
Is that what took Josh Scar out?
Yep, it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
Oof.
Creeper's dead.
Yeah, that's that ambient NPC right there that just
Yep.
ripped through you. I am out of mana, by the way.
We are so close.
So close. It's ravaging.
Okay.
I ran away from the stalker right into the ravage. That was brilliant teamwork.
That is
Oh,
that is,
this was
that is
your
ill-advised.
Brilliant teamwork.
So
on
all
Raph.
we just have to let Joskar's pet. Oh, I was gonna say Joskar's pet could save us, but apparently not.
Well, not anymore.
Well,
Oof.
That
Yeah,
was
just send
good
it out.
though.
We
That was
pulled
that
like
was
4 or 5 of 'em.
improvement. We were doing okay. We got
it's
that
nice.
ambient NPC.
The respawns, man.
That respawn. Well, that leads into the second part from Diasuko's question, though, while we get some health back before we run in. And this question is very near and dear to me. So here we go. Also, the quests seem to be not really exciting, nothing to really look forward. No mystery items, not much storytelling for the moment. Is there more to come? Everquest had nothing at the start, but NPCs were talking about the end of the world, which caused people to write stories of their own, which was just fantastic. Thank you for your time and great efforts. Playing again with old friends and husband in a game is just so cool. That really means a lot. And that is all from Diasuko. So anything you want to talk about there, Joppa?
Yeah. Well, first of all, what were they referring to with the NPCs talking about the end of the world in EQ? I was trying to place
I'm
that.
not certain. It could be talking about EverQuest 2.
EverQuest 2?
Because EverQuest 2 was kind of started with a cataclysmic event that happens like lore-wise. But I mean, I'm not entirely sure what they're referring to in EverQuest lore specifically.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, well, the answer is yes. The answer is yes to the question, is there more to come? Absolutely. In fact, not only is there more to come, the majority of that content is yet to come. The interesting thing about the journey we've been on, and this, the answer to this question is going to mean more to you depending on how long you follow the project. If Pantheon's something you've just heard about recently, then this may or may not be on your radar at all, or it may be just something you're assuming is absolutely, this is unfinished and there's more to come. If you follow the project for a while, you are probably aware that, this game started with lore, a very deep base of lore. And from that lore, we have essentially created everything that currently exists in the game, and it guides everything that we are making. So to that degree, there is a significant amount of game lore that needs to make its way into the game. Not that every single secret and every single, nook and cranny of the game's context and history is going to be available for players to uncover, at least right away. But there is a lot of work still to be done to bring that into the game. In addition to that, it's not only making the world feel more lived in by having meaningful NPC conversations or more of a variety and number of quests to do in the world. It's also the fact that we want to kind of introduce somewhat of a new system. I mean, it's not completely novel, but it pulls bits and pieces from other games while also trying to maintain like a truly classically spirited MMO feel. And that is what we call the perception system. And it's kind of a deeper approach, a more immersive approach to how the lore of the game reveals itself to the player. And it's through basically the kind of the what's the word? Like not the mantra, but like the guiding principle behind perception is that I should be able to find and learn and engage with story and lore and insight in the game simply by exploring the world. If I find something interesting to me, if there is something that looks like it's maybe got more to it, and I approach it. The perception system is designed, I've got aggro, creeper. The perception system is designed to kind of reward you with a prompt. I'm not needing to gather quests beforehand. I'm not needing to, go through a linear quest hub. I'm just rewarded with a prompt by, drawing near to something interesting. And from that point, I can engage with a quest. I can engage with in some cases, a sprawling storyline that I didn't even know was there. And that's just me exploring the world naturally as I would, as we are wont to do in these kinds of games. And the design behind that is to get away from the game map, mini map, lights, symbols, to get away from those things telling us what is important and what we should care about, and getting back to a place where we're just existing in a world, and by right of like seeing something interesting, we can engage with the story of the game through this system. So it's hard to like make this concise. There's so much to it, and hopefully before long we'll be at a point where we can do a lot more telling instead of showing with perception. But the bottom line is, yes, like there is a significant amount of lore and quests and story content coming to this game.
Perfect.
I was super impressed that you were saying what you were saying, and you also said, "I got aggro," without skipping a beat. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that the perception system is one of the things that originally drew me to Pantheon in the first place. Getting to see it kind of shown off a little bit, shown in the build that some of the other creators did, shown off when Carnage was like looking at one thing and like, oh, what does this lead into? And in the game, I haven't seen it recently, but there was these perception pings that led you from it's running away from Avelia in Thronefast to your death, because they led you to, I just redinged level 10. That's great. They led you to some hobgoblins in the world, and that's one of the things that I really like seeing, because there's a lot of perception pings in the world right now that are just kind of like their flavor. They kind of like in the New Orc area, there's stuff like that. You hear shrieks bouncing off the walls, and deeper in Halnir, there's also more like perception pings. But the one that I really enjoyed in Thronefast was each ping led to the next ping, so it was kind of like guiding you to something, and that's one of the things that I think is going to be truly special about the system. Okay, that's scary.
Okay,
at least we killed one of the things now, so there's that. Okay, it is. Yeah, we
killed our first thing.
Yep. Also, it is. Oh, I need to change to the blunt weapon, I think, because it's got its physical resistance reduced. But I think slow would be. I dropped its
magical resistances thanks to your expose.
Okay, actually, do you think? And this is part of the combat, and we are a little low on mana for our necromancer and for our shaman. But part of the combat is this technique system, which allows us to kind of figure out how we want to best approach situations. So like we can slow the enemy by 25%. We can reduce the physical resistances. We can reduce the basically counter things that are happening and make it easier. And that works with an archetype system where a melee DPS and a caster DPS work well together. A support works in kind of both ways, and the tank and healers work together. And it's a system that helps the group function a bit better, I think. I can't really do anything with that expose.
No.
Oh,
move
out of the ravage.
I got slowed or something. Something weird happened.
I don't think I have like any way to taunt this. Oh, Joppa's down. Is it on me? It's on me. It's on me.
I have no
I'm okay.
Yeah, that Ravager hides out and paths right on the other side of this rock down there.
Oh, that's rough. I mean, it's close to dead, but
I don't know. Our DPS is like I was
yeah,
pretty much on that fight.
As orange to us.
I'll just blame Malkael.
I'm not dead. I still might kill this.
No.
So
I'm blaming you
can
for.
blame me if you like.
I'm blaming you for the DPS.
Oh, there's an ad.
We got to talk around this
Oh,
too.
that is bad there. We need to zone this. Call train. Train.
You don't have to
zone in.
call train though. You're good.
Train to
Just yell it. Everyone's
yell it.
listening.
Yeah, I feel like as the creative director of the game, I probably should use a little more etiquette with announcing trains and not just like getting thousands of groups wiped here. Sorry.
Well, typically they just go back.
But then you can just claim that it wasn't you. I mean, there is video evidence, so that
Yeah.
might put a downer on things.
Yeah.
So who survived that? Joppa
I did
survived that?
I did. I survived.
Congratulations, my friend.
Queen Nat. If it weren't for Queen Nat, I wouldn't have survived.
So there you go.
I did throw a hot on you at the very last minute with the only mana that I had.
I was also
That's
first
fine.
aiding there. I had you on the ground. I was
Okay.
like, all right, let's get him up. Let's get him up.
And I did
I died
absolutely
right at
nothing
the
to
zone
help
line.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Par
I
for
did
the
nothing.
course. Par for the
So-
course, Red.
I haven't experienced this
Ooh.
yet, but it was either a slow or a weird like geometry thing. Because
Okay.
all of a sudden I couldn't walk forward.
Oh, okay.
oh, so you couldn't
Hmm.
dodge.
Yeah, I couldn't. That's why I got hit by the Ravage, or else we would have been fine. Well,
We were
maybe.
doing
We
well.
were kind of,
That-
yeah,
I think we were gonna win it.
yeah.
So
Even
that-
as a surprise.
That does make me think that keeping the defenselessness, which I've got on screen here, the Bramble Sting, is based off the weapon type that I'm using. It exploits the opening gap, and it either creates pierced armor, which reduces armor class by 20%, creates defenselessness, which reduces their chance to evade physical attacks, or creates restrained, which reduces their action speed by 25%. So action speed being auto attack plus abilities, which just makes life a little bit easier. But I
Since
think
we're having deaths, I'd say the slow is very useful.
you think? I mean, we're also.
Oh yeah.
I mean, either way it works, right? So, but the problem is
Well,
I
with
can't.
Ravage, it actually extends the life of Ravage, so
Oh,
it
okay.
doesn't take longer to cast. It just makes them do it longer, which is kind of a form of CC since they're
Yeah.
stuck in that state
It's
until it completes.
free. It's free DPS. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Assuming we can get out of it. Yes.
Yeah. The downside to
Yep.
that, my blunt weapon is on my corpse. So
We'll make it there. in
the
just a few
first
more times.
course, the first
Yeah,
course.
they're chilling with my bone fragments too.
I've been asking a lot of questions. Did anyone else want to ask a question while we do another corpse roll?
Sure. Joppa, you mentioned Unity 6 today. I had a
I
question
did.
regarding that. Lighting, the pixelation bug, and the flickering. Will Unity 6 help with that, you think?
That's a good question. I don't know. I know what Kyle thinks the underlying issue is that's causing it, but I'm not sure if the Unity 6 upgrade would fix it. Let me actually ask him real quick.
There you go.
Got him a difficult one.
Well, I hadn't even thought of the potential of that, and so now I'm just as curious as well.
It would be nice to squash that. It is, oof.
We didn't get the answer live here, but we did get confirmation later after this stream that the fix to this light flickering, which you'll actually see later in this video when we kind of get into a groove and we're in a kind of a safer place in Halnir Dungeon, that it might be fixed with the upcoming upgrade to Unity 6, which should be coming soon to Pantheon. By the time you're watching this, it could even be already done. Here's hoping.
I don't know if they're sneaking out there or because I want them to kill everything on our way down.
That would be nice if they do kill everything.
Just follow him.
Look,
just follow him.
GuloGulo is level 24 here. So,
Yeah. So
He wouldn't aggro anything.
yeah. Just be careful of the spiders.
may
Or
not kill
also,
anything either,
we should
so.
probably wait.
I think
anyway.
Joppa's typing right now.
Yeah. Probably not abandon Joppa at the beginning.
It is clear up to where we died
Ooh,
before.
yep. Thanks, Gulo. He's dragging my corpse.
But which one?
The easy one. I'm sure.
The good news is I get to re-ding level 10 again.
There's a respawn.
Okay. Whoops.
Nat's
sorry.
here. Nat's here. You can tank it.
Okay.
Wait, are y'all?
Oh, they're fighting.
Yeah, let's wait here. Let's see. Where are you? Oh, there's a cave spider though. Oh shit!
Oh no!
I'm zoning,
Now
I'm
we're
zoning, I'm
being
zoning.
attacked. Oh no!
Zoning.
Well,
We had one spawn right on top of us.
It should leash back, right? Like it should be fine. I didn't just train everybody, did I?
Savania's gonna get this like DM that's like, there's a fake Joppa and a group of people training mobs on us in front of the zone.
Ban
No, the
Redbeard
group
Flynn.
that's here, they handled the train. It's
Yeah.
dead now.
They destroyed it too, very quickly. How many is this? Let's see. One. Is it just a group of 3? No, 4. I'm just gonna watch them real quick.
yeah, one thing that a little hard to see
Oh,
if I
that's
actually
good.
have my banner up.
Look for the buff.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not used to seeing it. I've only been 10 for a little bit, so I'm like, I wasn't looking. I'm like, where's my banner at?
That's fair. You are newly level 10. Level 10 in a lot of ways feels like a kind of a the first class defining level. There's a lot of skills that come for level 10. Like I remember for Necromancer, I think that's where I got my root. And there's another thing that I got for that level 10 too. But you start to get like some really, really important skills at level 10. Not to mention the traits and everything, your second trait that gives you more stats. And for Ranger, there was the whole momentum engage and withdraw that comes at level 10.
I have to say, I love that rush so much. Storm.
Wait, what?
It's my favorite.
Storm?
What I just like shot down. Oh, you didn't see it because you died.
Well, yeah. Nat and Ettendrag and I are down here killing mobs.
Okay, there was respawns up here, but I think, are we good now? I'm just gonna, there we go. We're fine.
Yeah, Gulo's dragging a corpse. So
Okay, we're
Good to have
back.
you.
We've been reunited.
We are
Hello.
back in this this place of death.
Welcome back.
We've seen this
We
place
should
many times.
we should push on before this respawns.
Yeah.
yeah, they've already killed this.
So,
Uh oh.
Let's be careful.
There's a
'cause-
respawn.
oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Oh, good. There's another one. Oh, wait. Don't leave.
I've got a non-Pantheon related question for you, Joppa.
Mhm.
What are some of your favorite games to play outside of Pantheon?
I mean, in the last like couple of years, keeping it pretty fresh, current, I would say it's been. Let's see. Played a lot of Tarkov. I've played. Satisfactory and Factorio.
Whoa, excellent.
And
Oh, we got a spawn. We're gonna
Elden
catalyst.
Ring and 7 Days to Die. That's it. There you go.
Elden Ring. And you actually streamed some No Rest for the Wicked, right? Not too long ago. Well, I guess it was a while ago.
I did.
At this point, yeah.
But I ended up just with everything going on. I didn't like the last day that I streamed it is the last day that I played it. I just never returned to it. I would really like to at some point.
It's not like you're busy or anything else. There was a spider I'm trying to kill it.
Yeah.
There it goes. Got the spider. It's funny, like when we're fighting, it's just everyone gets a bit more quiet because there's a lot more focus going on.
It's just my.
How about a
Go ahead.
how about an exposed there, Redbeard?
Yep. Done.
Thanks, sir.
I'm feeling my muscle memory come back. Just nice.
I would like to buy my group heal at level 10, please.
Okay, there we go. Hey, we killed this. We have now killed, not including ourselves, 2 things. And I guess not including the ambient NPCs.
What about the one that we 3-manned without you?
Hey, look, we don't have to, don't know.
Some of us are wearing our
really
weightlifting
bad.
belts
So-
because we're carrying the team.
There's a Ravager. Would we like to try to kill him again?
Yeah, here,
Why
I've
don't
got
we
my
wait a
blunt
moment?
weapon now. Thanks
Yeah,
to
I'm trying to get
GuloGulo
my,
for corpse dragging and
I
getting
see,
our
yeah.
corpses to us, and getting our items.
Yeah.
Because we know we just got the respawn on our head, so we're safe here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Joppa's half mana, so let's wait a sec.
I really want to get my level back so I can use all my my nice spells.
How
Don't forget your labored blessing.
Speaking of which, I know this is a little too into the mechanics a little bit, but I was discussing with some other folks and saying, because I am a cleric as my main, I'm like, cleric is starting to get a little less differentiated than the new healers. I really think the cleric needs to have a XP res lower than everyone else.
we gotta
At a lower level.
Okay.
That's my pitch.
Start
to get
at
it
level 8.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of 16, maybe we got a 12. Maybe we got it at level 8.
Just like you could just bump the reses down. That actually would. Oh god, we got a Ravager. Oh, that's not us. That's them.
That's
okay,
them.
Never mind.
That's them. They're pulling.
Okay. I got scared. I'm sorry.
Oh no, me too. I hear
I
you.
was here too. I was like, oh no, it's
Yeah.
happening.
There was a
So what you're
There's a bit of
saying
finger
is, potentially like clerics
Cabalist,
would
come
get
up here.
Cabalist.
the 25% res at 8 and the 50% res at 16.
Well, I don't know about 50 at 16, but just that was just my thought of, hey, they're just not differentiated as much as the other healers. So it's just a fun thought to think about. Nothing. I hold no sway, I'm sure.
It's interesting you mentioned that because I have a necromancer question later, but I'll be curious to hear what Joppa's thoughts are on that. Also, can I get a opening gap, please?
Done. How about the?
And it is
Oh, you
slow.
already did it.
Yep.
Well done. Let's see
But
what this
now
wizard can
its spells are being, or like you've got.
No, stay with me.
They went from like 2-second cast times to 2.5-second cast times, so a significant difference. And then eventually the shaman gets a slow as well, right? Which would then stack to 50%.
I have the slow. It's on there now.
Oh, is it? So are they? Wait,
Yeah.
see weathering.
Scorched fog.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it looks like a black hand.
Is it? Does it work though? Are they currently stacking or are they not currently stacking?
They're stacking.
Yeah,
They
they are.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was like a
Yeah.
3-second cast right
I
there.
see the weathered in the
Yeah.
other one. Yep. Nice.
The only way we could get another slow on there is if we had like a summoner, and then
Okay,
we could use theirs to add to the melee version. So we have the melee level slow on there
Yeah.
from technique. We can
where
also
is
get the
the-
caster level slow,
Oh, try again.
but it comes from a
Okay,
summoner.
this is showing just how bad my DPS is. I don't like this.
Don't run down. Oh,
There we go.
There you go.
It was because you were level 9. That was
Congrats on
That's it. That's
reading.
it. Now I'm
Regrets.
back to level 10. All right. Well, we're making a little bit of progress now.
the technique
I like it.
system is very deep. I like it.
Love it.
It's very
yeah.
satisfying.
I admit I was kind of like on the fence at first because when it first came out, it was kind of like you had to do these things to unlock the NPC. And now the way that it works, it feels very much like
Corner's fine if you guys want to come down.
for some NPCs, it helps unlock them. Like if they have certain traits, because some will have, do any of these have traits yet? No.
Okay, this is a very dangerous junction. Let me
Okay.
take a look.
Leroy.
Alright, it's gonna be a Ravager. It's a single pull.
Of course it's a Ravager. It's always a Ravager.
This is a very dangerous junction. A very rude junction.
It is
Shame on you, Joppa.
exposed.
You're welcome.
But I know all of your tricks here.
Do you?
Yes, always check the corners, my friend.
Have you done Mad Run yet, Malkael?
Yes, I have. Pre-EA.
Okay, pre-EA. That place is also. Can I get an expose?
Would you
Or not
finish your
expose.
ravaging
Opening
pal?
gap. Sorry.
You
know what I
got
meant,
two on
though.
there.
Yeah.
All right.
We're actually
You wanted DPS. Here you go. It's coming.
the wizard DPS. I guess I should
Spawn
start
behind.
doing-
Spawn behind. Spawn behind.
Cabalist.
And an ambient.
The Ravager's almost dead.
I'm killing the ambient.
I've got a med.
Is it on me? It's on me,
Yeah.
isn't it? Oh, there we go.
Ambient
Someone
is
is level.
dead.
Ambient's
That was
dead.
me.
Could have been Joppa.
Nice.
Congrats.
Nice.
Hey, you're back
Regrets.
at full power.
I'm so proud of us. We killed the Ravager. We did it.
Get the catalyst there.
Right in front of us. Oh, you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
It's okay. I was like, I'm mezzing.
Just leave, just leave Joskar there.
I was-
Just-
I was.
It'll be fine. I can hold it a little longer.
it's exposed.
Reduce.
Reduce. Reduce.
In an increasingly panicked tone.
I'll have to make sure to tell Cyrus that you.
Oh man, that's like I will never forget. I will never forget that moment.
I'm about to get chunked.
Is that okay? Yeah. Let me just sit down.
I already pulled.
Okay, I'm casting. Can you just reduce? Reduce? You need to reduce. Can you mitigate? Do something. Can
I love three.
Can you mitigate?
Almost. There we go. Load 2.
Yeah, I'm really liking the warrior as the more I play. There's
That's
just
good.
some really fun. Hey, come back, pal. Thank you.
He's just trying to slow red.
Well, a little bit of the
I'm
problem here is
building
I
up to
literally can't see
paralysis.
the little ratkin. I can't see that he is faced the other way yet because my big giant head is in the way.
So you're saying you should have been a halfway?
In this cave, yeah. I'm a Shire Lord.
All right, hold on. Let's wait for that stalker to go back.
All right.
Shoot.
So then I've got a kind of an open-ended question for you, Joppa. How do you feel about the state of the game currently, knowing that this is an early access and there's still a lot to do? How do you feel about the state of the game at the moment?
I feel really, really good about it. I feel really good about it because the
Here we go.
spirit of what we're trying to do, I think, is intact and is resonating. And that's just trying to think of good words for it. Like, you know, that's like the most important thing. That's the starting point. And the fact that the starting point for so many of the people that are now playing the game, experiencing it, are tasting these classically spirited elements again, all put together in this particularly unique package, and are loving it. Yeah, like if I am forcing myself to not think about, you know, the many things that we have in front of us to improve and continue to develop, I'm super happy.
Very nice. I mean, I can attest to that because I have been. It's been hurting my content, Joppa, because I'm playing too much Pantheon and I'm not doing enough work, and that's causing me issues because I need to do
That's a
more.
very good thing.
Are we ready for another?
I think
Sorry to interrupt, but-
Nat's at half.
That
mana.
might come with an ad.
Okay,
That one might come with an ad.
I was just gonna shoot before he goes back.
We could do that.
If it's a Ravager ad, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm
Just
gonna.
let him
Oh, I need
go
to
away, and
switch,
then there's
actually.
the one to the left
I need to
there.
make my assist key.
You can see the stalker right here from this position. Is the issue.
Okay. Do you
And-
want to grab him and I
Of
will.
course. Of course. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
What? It failed.
What failed?
My shield, my rush, it failed. It's supposed to stun him.
It's resisted.
Yes, it resisted.
I think Malkel has said it best when, like, for the state of the game, just kind of adding on to that, the if you enjoyed Everquest, this game feels great right now. I think that there's like the grouping dynamics they're intense, like you've seen so far in this. Like they're pretty freaking intense. We've already wiped a couple times. There's a lot of things that'll be very familiar, and it's not just EverQuest, but also like Final Fantasy 11. Basically, those types of games. There's a lot of fun to be had, and there's a significant amount of time investment you can do in the game, even right now. There's some things that I'm currently hoping for sooner rather than later, but I've just been having a really good time with this game, and it's kind of in a lot of ways like when I made my channel on MMOs, I was making a channel more thinking backwards towards MMOs. I started my channel on MMOs thinking about EverQuest and basically covering the game as it was more than the game as it is, and hoping for, you know, some of those emotions and feelings, and getting to have a lot of those same emotions and feelings now in Pantheon. But not only that, getting to bring people in who have not only never played EverQuest but never played an MMO, and them have a fun, engaging time and send me messages on Discord saying I'm addicted to this game now, has been a really amazing experience to be able to share that with people again.
Let's move forward, my friends.
Okay.
I'm scared.
I did want to ask Joppa a question on the topic you were just on, though.
Sure,
Joppa,
sure.
do you
Yeah,
feel like
that's
the
right.
game
Matter.
is enough EverQuest for you, since EverQuest is your favorite game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely getting there. The piece that's missing for me right now is the kind of the lived-in feeling of the world, developing that out further. I was talking to David Schlau, Ronick. Not everybody watching, listening to this will know who that is, but some of you will, maybe many of you will. But I was talking to him today because he's gearing back up to start doing some more writing and whatnot on the project, and we were reflecting on Avelia and how, you know, my desire is that when someone makes a character and they start through those early levels in Avelia, that I would love for players to leave that area, you know, as they reach a certain level and move on, leaving with a sense of like what Avelia is and who lives there and what the relationship is of that town to Thronefast. And we were talking about, for example, like, you know, it's one thing in a game to have quest givers and quests. So you've got, you know, the wagon wheel repairman in the village, and he has a quest for you to bring him his tools that he forgot at home or whatnot. Like, boom, there you go. It's a quest. But you're not learning anything from that. We've got two.
And
Mez,
Mez,
I'm getting the Ravager.
Oh, okay. So Mez, the Kabbalist.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't like
good.
fighting
Hurry
on
the
the
pass.
bridge.
Good. Hurry the pass.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, let's get him. Let's get this Ravager debuffed.
Kabbalist is free.
All right, lowers his resistances. Let's get him slowed.
I'm trying as soon as I get there. Oh, I got resisted. If I can
All
get
right.
another.
I can give you another gap in
Yep.
a second.
Ravage.
Watch Ravage.
Ravage.
Oh, Ravage. Oh, they healed you through it. Amazing. Taunt him back. You can do it.
I'm trying. Come back, come back.
You got it. You're doing good.
Okay, let me back up. There we go.
Oh, think I
All
have.
right.
Holy moly.
There's an
Good
opening
job,
gap.
guys.
Okay, he's slowed.
All
I
right.
have room here to do my ranger
I
ranger
should
things?
have.
I think I do.
Oh.
It's my fault for fighting on the bridge. It was a little hard to move.
Be ready for another ravage soon.
Yeah.
There it is right now.
There it is.
I do like that I can do my ranger things here, even in this area. It's a little dangerous, a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But getting to kind of use momentum a little bit.
All right.
Oh wait, I'm not gonna try that.
Good
That
job,
was
good job,
scary
good
as
job.
hell.
Well, look, can we keep it mez for a
Yeah,
moment?
just
Yeah,
for a
still
second if
messing
you
up.
can.
Yep.
This is the part of the game
let's-
that it's so hard to like understand this when you're watching.
Uh-huh.
People watch Pantheon, they're like, it seems a little slow paced.
Yeah.
Until you get in there and you're like living these moments.
Yeah.
That tension is so hard to like communicate.
It's
I know,
it's
that's my
it's,
sphincter.
it's
Right now.
intensity and tenseness. It's like where like nothing's happening and everything's happening all at once. And even what having played a necromancer, my necromancer is currently level 18. Playing a necromancer, doing what Joskar is doing right now, even that feels tense. You're just casting
This is
the same.
terrifying.
It is because you're like, I just got to keep this mez. I got to keep this mez, and it's like this. Or even with you're trying to get mana back very fast because you need to get a heal, and you're sitting. It's like it's.
Here we go.
It's the weirdest thing to say, but it's the most intense sitting experience you will ever have. Is trying to get that mana back.
What?
Yeah.
Get your face
This
back
is a
over
feeling
here.
that I've definitely been missing from EverQuest, 100% though.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that we've all peeled our hands away from the mouse and can relax a little bit, I think that's, to me, that's the piece I would call out and say that's kind of missing right now. Like I want to know more about the world. When I
yeah.
think of a player playing the game, I think that's the biggest thing that feels like it's not quite where it needs to be in regards to a true evolution of EverQuest and really capturing that spirit. Beyond that, the group play, the world building, the dungeon design, the class identity, some of the punishing aspects of the game, the challenge, the danger, all those components. I feel like it's in a really good spot.
I guess
There's a
to
Bill
pile
Iron
on to
Warhammer
that, Joppa, I feel like
Warhammer.
Halnir is very well designed as far as the dungeon goes. How do you feel about future dungeons being at this level or even greater?
Oh, I mean, the goal is to always surpass. And so I think like with Black Rose Keep, for example, the next kind of major dungeon that we're going to be releasing, I want it to feel like a true step up from Halnir Cave in terms of the challenge, the kind of the vibe, and just the need for teamwork, the need for, well, not the need, but just the reality of a very robust group crawl, group camp dungeon. I think it's gonna be a step up. I do. Halnir Cave's
Ravager.
interesting though, because it's so massive, it's so deep, and there are so many lore inflection points in here. Oh my goodness.
Back.
Oop, Monk's
I'm
down.
over here, pal. Thank you.
I gotcha.
Those wizard pullers. Ah,
Yeah.
It's exposed.
No.
I normally play a monk. Everyone
back,
knows
come
this.
back. I need you to be over here. There. I need you to be over here.
Yeah, just tell them sweet nothings.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not willing to use what is it? Engage. Engage feels very scary here.
We have an aggro. We have aggro running up.
Stalker.
It's gonna come across the bridge.
Joska.
Okay.
Watch the frontal from the Ravager. Always mindful.
Yeah, we're gonna come back here.
We're good. We're
I
good.
need another exposed because I got resisted again. Oh, Ravage.
Let's see if I can
Ravage.
move over here.
You got it.
Oh, ooh.
Okay.
Oh. Mez.
One of
You
the
do it.
things
You got it. You got it. Well done.
You're doing great. One of the things that I noticed with the mez for Necromancer is you can't tell always when it's broken because you keep
Yeah.
channeling it. So it's just one
Yeah,
of those.
it doesn't
Yeah.
break the channel when it ends. So I was
Mhm.
like,
So it's like
It
you
doesn't
just have
restart
to watch.
immediately?
No. You have to.
it
You have.
doesn't cancel it.
Yeah, you have to
stop it.
cancel. Yeah.
Head
I
behind
feel
you.
like that should like adjust every tick.
We've got some definite improvements on our channeling
Come in
code.
here. Come in here. Come
Oh,
in here.
sweet,
Come in here.
That's good.
that are needed.
Yeah, we're gonna add behind. So
If possible, can I get another expose? I know it's kind of late on this one, but there we go.
Yeah, that's there.
There.
Stalker broke.
I think the other group is
Oh, they grabbed it.
trying
Okay.
to take it.
Are they?
Well,
That's
they didn't
well.
manage to take it.
yeah. Well,
They
they,
tried though.
they just break the mess. Okay, we'll do this. This.
Oh my god, it's like LOSing
come
everywhere.
on.
They're taking it. They're taking it.
Okay.
Just let them
Okay.
have it.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Okay, now that I'm actually using the momentum for the ranger, I'm enjoying this a lot more.
I love the ranger.
Imagine using the kit and liking it more.
Well, I literally just got it, okay? I wasn't level 10.
For anyone that doesn't know, Red and I go way back, so it's my
Mhm.
job to pick on him.
He was my raid leader in Everquest for probably about 3 years or so.
Maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Finnegal was a long journey. It was so fun.
Oh, come on. Yikes.
That's why I say
Seeing-
Malkel just leads and then I follow. It works. It works.
Seeing as we just cleared this over here, I think we should
Okay,
move over
move.
here.
They should move over there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an ambient enemy over here. I killed it.
Okay, good.
Sweet.
Is this we're near a thing, right? Or wait, is it
We are.
Hmm?
a certain thing?
So there's a secret here.
A certain
I know
That's
a
in
thing.
us. Yeah.
that we can use our climbing to figure out. Wait, am I gonna fall? I'm so gonna fall.
I was like, is my climbing high enough?
Oh shoot. wait, hold
Didn't
on.
quite climb in the right spot.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's
over
over
here.
on this side. But I'm so scared of
Oh.
falling on this side right here. Oh no. I know watching like, why are they climbing up this pillar? What could they
Holy
possibly want to
moly.
do?
It's not here. But
it's not?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Secrets.
Wait, how do you do this safely? Oh, that's okay. There we go. So up here where we just climbed to, you can't. There's unfortunately it's not up, so somebody else
Oh,
got
great.
it.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Wait, did you?
Don't die. Don't die.
Don't. It's
Fall all the way?
Nope. But I didn't want to fall into an aggro.
Yeah, don't fall down there. That will be yeah.
So one of the things in this game that's a bit more exciting, I think, like it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, this is cool and kind of new, not like exactly new, but there are items like in Halnir, there's a couple actually really good items that are just ground spawns. And you can go and get those. And that ties into a wider part of just exploration, right? So there's nothing really else up there, but we can climb up to get there. And that's where you find, is that the bag? Or what is it that's up this one?
That's the bag.
That's the bag. Okay, so it's a really good item that you can get, and it's no drop, so you have to go and get it yourself.
Spoiler time.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hey, listen.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler warning. Okay, so if you
You
look
can
around this
bet on
corner
all of those
without
things being moved, by the way. Like, there's no way we're going to just leave those things exactly where they are. So it's not a big deal right now. No worries.
There's a Ravager behind the pillar.
I won't say any of
There
the
might be
other
2 or
things
3.
that exist in here. If that helps. There you go. Little teaser.
There's already YouTube vids. I apologize. Actually, I don't. This is why we wiped originally, is we poked our head around that corner, and if you look over here with your camera only, you'll see there's 3 mobs.
Oh.
With the camera only.
And if you wait for the roamer to go, we can pull just 2. So
Okay.
here we go. We'll pull just 2. Incoming. It's gonna be 2.
Who am I mezzing?
One's the one that comes in slowly. It's
Okay.
gonna come up slowly. There he comes.
Okay, so the Cabalist. Or well, the second Cabalist.
I'm just gonna sit here and have a nice little chat with our little Cabalist friend.
I low key, when I've played Necromancer, I have just like stared at the visual effects, trying to see, because every now and then you'll see a little ghost face. Or maybe I was just,
yeah, no, on the
That's just you,
on the
right?
telephone.
That's just me.
No one else experiences that. That's just.
It's just delirium from playing a Necromancer. Is that what it is?
Yes.
See, but now we're kind of getting into the groove of this. We're kind of starting to find our groove a little. We had a rough start, but now we're making progress. We're making a lot of progress in this
We've made
zone.
more XP than we've lost, even with the rocky
True.
start.
How
We
many
are
deaths did we have? We had a
progressing
lot of deaths.
tremendously. Like
Yeah.
the XP at this level actually feels really good. Like at 10, it's right.
Yeah.
In the 20s, it's
It's one of those things where like this zone feels very scary and intimidating.
How's mana?
But
It's worth it, though.
It is worth it, yeah.
Just tell me if you're good. It looks good.
we should be good.
Well, I'm just doing
Wait,
it.
is there
so here we go.
another one that I have to worry about back there, by the way? Still?
There is a roamer.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Ravager.
Just
Wow.
gonna sit there and cast on you.
It's
I
mad at
love
you.
these
really
the
hate-
Ratkin
he really
models,
hates
too.
you.
The drawn Ratkin. They look so cool.
Yeah, the rat can look amazing.
They really do.
Ah, shoot.
They
Imagine
may
being able to look like one of them.
imagine.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy
cool.
if that was something that could be possible, but I don't know.
Mm.
Who knows? That's
Do
crazy.
you guys know?
We need the sound alert for the
or whatever the chest,
the
right?
Zelda.
the
Zelda.
Zelda chest, or the secret open, right?
I know
The
Joppa
door.
was thinking that we needed that noise right then. I could feel it.
Yeah, I'm
You
just,
guys
I don't
know
know
the
when I'm
soundboard.
Can I back up?
So strike of breaking, I've got it up, up to 3. If I go right to the next, does it automatically apply to that next mob properly, or do I have to be within the fight
No.
to?
No, because it's both a debuff on the mob that you apply individually and a buff you keep on yourself. You keep your
Yeah.
buff at 3, but on
Okay,
the
but
next
not the
mob, it's
debuff.
only 1 stack on him.
Ah, okay. Because I've been trying to do my best to, like, a mob's dying, and I want to
Well, that's good for
get
your
that
own
back up again.
survivability, for sure.
Yeah.
So I've got another question. We've talked about a lot of things that like we want in game, a lot of priorities, a lot of things like that. How, Joppa, do you prioritize things when everything is a priority and you have a community, an often
Oh,
loud
that-
community?
That's not us. That's not us. That's
No,
not us.
that's
I was
theirs.
scared.
That's theirs.
I was like, oh no.
Let's
An
move on.
often very loud
Okay.
community, including people like myself, who have competing priorities, whether it's like combat things or group content or solo content or lore and perception or crafting. How with a small team, how do you prioritize when everything's a priority?
Well, I mean, you've got to think about things that you have worked on yourself, and obviously it doesn't have to be a video game, but when you think about complicated, complex, or long-term things that you have personally worked on, there's an intimacy of knowledge and perspective and insight that you have on where it's been, where it's at, where it's going, and there's a lot of instinct that comes from that. So I would say some of it is instinctual, and sometimes that can, be quote unquote incorrect. I would say there have been times on the way where we've maybe not prioritized the right thing or done things in the sequence that might have been best in hindsight, but there's no escaping some amount of instinct. I think you also look for trends when we're factoring in like player community, because the reality is, as much as people like Fusoya and Codeman, two of our other developers, the two of them probably play Pantheon more than anybody else on the team. They have an incredible knowledge and understanding from just playing the game a ton, and that still pales in comparison to the amount of time that our players have put into the game. And so there's a very real kind of dynamic where players are bringing, as they bring trending feedback, that's something that we take seriously and will often factor in to a degree with our prioritization as well, especially when things are communicated as very, game breaking or whatnot. But otherwise, it's really, just kind of having a plan, executing that plan, And a lot of it's determined by our resources as well. You know, the way we go about things would be very different if we had twice the team or three sizes the size, you know, that we have right now of a team. We could make a lot of different decisions about what we do and when. So, yeah, I'd say that's kind of the quick white knuckled answer while we're
The elevator pitch.
Yeah. I did want to go back to something else we were talking about a little earlier as well. It's just a very quick comment, but I think you said something, Redbeard, about, you know, if you've played EverQuest, if you've played Final Fantasy 11, Dayak, you know, any of these classic games, you're going to find a lot familiar here. And I absolutely, of course, 100% agree with that. I've also been really encouraged at the amount of like WoW Classic players who've come, and I think there's something really interesting about that. Like Pantheon deviates in some ways from WoW Classic, you know, in terms of the things it embraces with like the social nature of the gameplay, the death penalty, non-linear quests, progression, things like that, and other areas as well. But it's been a reminder to me of like, when you really think back to the very, very beginning of World of Warcraft, the truly vanilla days, there's a lot more similarities with EverQuest in certain ways than we, I think, often realize. And so it's been cool to see so many players from a WoW background really resonate with Pantheon as well. So yeah, I just wanted to extend that out there. If you're watching this, you haven't tried Pantheon, but you're somebody that, you know, enjoys WoW hardcore or like classic World of Warcraft, then there could be a lot for you to find and enjoy here as well.
I absolutely agree. I think there's a slight adjustment when you get into it, but I think one of the places, if you come from WoW Classic into Pantheon, one of the places that I think will feel very good is the responsiveness of combat and how you're using abilities, and abilities are impactful, and how that kind of works. It's gonna feel like, that'll probably feel more like everything is kind of like an elite mob or a group mob, than WoW Classic, which tends to lean into the quest for experience. And of course, the main difference for me is that the method of gaining experience is stuff like this versus doing questing and those kind of things, which WoW Classic leaned into. But I do like, I've had friends that have come to play this game from Guild Wars 2, which is a very, very different game, that have found a lot of love and enjoyment in the game. And then also people that have never played at all, any MMOs at all, that have also found a place in the game. And I think it's important in this, because we're doing this deep dungeon run, right? And this is some of the harder content out there. There's much harder content than this. To enjoy the game, and I think this is just a general thing with MMOs, you don't have to take a single path. And there can be a lot of, like, one of the things that one of my friends has been really, really loving in the game has been cooking. That has been one of their absolute favorite things, is to go and cook things that have stat foods and then give them to people. And being able to do that, or another friend who's just really enjoying exploring the world. So there's a lot of different things you can find enjoyment in, and you don't. Okay, our tank is dead. Or not? No, they're not dead. They're alive. But they're
fine.
Okay.
Why don't you hit and expose?
I was talking. I'm sorry. I can only.
That was way too close for comfort.
Yeah, I would have totally not been in Purple Club if you had been exposing.
That's.
To be fair, I hit Hurry the Pass, but it didn't go off because he was purple. So.
The thing is, even after all that, I still didn't expose until just now. I did slow it though.
That's a good question, actually.
What?
When is the purple healing interrupt fix coming, Joppa?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't give you a win. I can give you a yes. It will. It needs to, but I can't give you a win.
Is it a coding thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, right on.
So maybe this is self-serving, but my one of my biggest questions, just because this class is not out yet, but is the kind of concept behind the Pantheon Bard. And I people probably asked it on streams and I've just missed it, but You know, that's I'm hearing cool things. I love that PVL is involved, and you know the kind of things that they could bring to it, and what we could experience now. You know, it's got to be a lot better than, or a lot more interesting than just play loot. You know, play loot, get buff. You know, so I'm just wondering what the you know kind of not theory but the concept is in general. You know, I guess you don't get into too specific because probably kind of fluid at the moment. But
now, are you saying you just want like a bard design overview? Is that the question here?
yeah, something like that.
Oh man,
Let's spend the next hour talking about that. No,
yeah, yeah.
I guess the elevator version would be fine, but I'm just really
The
interested.
elevator version is 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's one of those with the elevator is actually longer. Let's see.
Like what differentiate? I mean, here maybe let me make it a lot smaller. How is it? You know, the differentiators between
Ravager on us.
the classic.
Incoming.
Sorry. The classic bards in several games like EQ. You know, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to running around and kiting and twisting songs and like what's the kind of differentiator that will have here, I guess.
Well, I mean, interestingly, the bard is one where a lot of the classes with Pantheon, I've felt this real conviction to differentiate them, like you said, to find meaningful ways to keep kind of the spirit of them intact, but to differentiate them, to give them their own little spin. And I think we've done a reasonably good job with that. There are some classes that walk that line a little bit more closely to the traditional. The Necromancer is a good example. The Cleric is a good example. And there are some classes where we have tried, you know, my goal has not been as much to differentiate, but to really like narrow down and lean into the things I feel like really made those classes strong and leave a lasting identity. I think the bard is probably on that same track. There's something very unique about the EverQuest bard, the song mechanics. They were very unique to that game, and it's been interesting to see the way that aura-based kind of weaving type mechanic, like I haven't really seen that a lot in other games. Granted, some of that I think is largely because, you know, of how it can be pretty rough on the wrist with the way that particularly was set up. But the idea that you could, you know, kind of cast and perpetually play these different aura-based abilities and then have be able through the mechanic to weave several of them together to actually stack various different effects to your choosing is really compelling. And I think that's kind of, instead of like looking to try and differentiate, I think it's an opportunity to look back and say that was actually a really cool, compelling mechanic. Let's lean into that. Let's embrace that, and then see if we can deepen it. And that's the goal with Pantheon's bard, is to try and fuse together the EverQuest bard with the Vanguard bard. And the Vanguard bard was more of a composition-based bard, so you were piecing together different pieces of songs into one song that had those different components to it. And instead of weaving them together individually through button presses, you were able to just perpetually play a single song that had multiple elements to it, or multiple different effects. And that's the ability to kind of choose between, okay, I want to be more manual in this fight. I want to have finer control over the songs I'm playing and what effects I'm weaving together in real time, versus okay, now we're recuperating, or in this fight I have a composition put together that already kind of has the things that I want to play intact, and I'm going to go that route. I think that's kind of where I'm set right now, and how I want the bard to feel. And then as far as the role, the Bard is one of the most iconic parts about the Bard to me was that true jack of all trades identity, where when it comes to being able to do a little bit of everything, and in some cases do it really, really well, and then the kind of the ability you have to support a group through so many different effects that you have available to you, with that skill-based kind of play of being able to weave in, multiple together as you choose. I think as a support role, it's gonna be fantastic. Like, it's gonna have all the draws that the EQ Bard had, and then perhaps even more so, because there's so much additional depth to Pantheon's combat, that some of the really nuanced support buffs and effects that the Bard will have in this game are going to allow them to be very situationally powerful, like very situationally supportive, I guess you could say, which will allow them to kind of flex that jack of all trades into very nuanced moments within groups, which I think is going to be really neat to see. So yeah, there's a ton I could say. I don't even feel like that was a great job, but there's great. A lot to unpack there, and it's one of my favorite classes. So I cannot wait for us to get it rolling.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think it's one of those classes that's just going to be. It's very highly anticipated for many, because it's one of those things that there have been some games that have done decent jobs with the Bard, but it's not one you see in every MMO, so it's going to be really, really exciting to see this version of it. Joppa, we're just past an hour, so I wanted to give you an out if you need to leave, or if we have any extension, but I wanted to make sure that we're respecting your time.
Yeah, I think probably 15 more minutes, and then I need to call it.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice. Especially because we have a placeholder inside.
Look how he's spinning. He's Is he spinning for everybody else, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. He is.
Like he is a whirling dervish.
Yeah, he's having a good old time in there.
It's whirl till you hurl.
He always does it for some reason, and then there's one more that always does it. It was the one that spawns. Here-ish.
What happened? Okay, something's happening. We've got a stalker on us.
He needs a trait of dizzy or something.
That's why it's so green in there. There's a bunch of puke.
For anyone who rated North TOV, Whirl Till You Hurl was such a nightmare. Oh my god.
I thought they were just happy mobs. I thought you did that on purpose and made them spin.
No. No.
They're just investigating everything at all times.
Their awareness stat is absolutely maxed.
They're investigating every player that is currently in the zone.
That's right.
Hey Joppa, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you've spoken on epic weapons in the past. How will they compare to EQ weapons? Will they be as fun? Will they be as memorable?
Yeah, so we've got a decision to make here, and I haven't raised this with the community yet, and maybe this is a good time to do it, I don't know, but Everquest's epic weapons were class-based. I've kind of toyed with the thought over the years of there being epic weapons that are not hard locked to specific classes, because the problem when you have epic weapons that are hard locked to specific classes is that they feel like these kind of mandatory end game points where you're not really a paladin until you have your fiery avenger, you're not really a cleric until you have your water sprinkler. Like there's something, the rage bringer and the rogue, it's like that's kind of it. And on one hand it's cool to have that finality and that kind of, this is the ultimate epic weapon that I'm looking for my class. But I was thinking, like, when you think of RPGs in general, there are so many like mythical weapons that exist that can be picked up and wielded by various different people. Not everybody, but what if epic weapons in Pantheon were less about like, and maybe there's some exceptions. Like, I'm not saying that we don't have something like a fiery avenger or things that are very iconically unique to certain classes, but what if epic weapons and armor was more of like, there was just more of what's the word? Like there's just a larger spectrum of options for things to potentially go for, and they're all equally as like insanely difficult to get and very time consuming, a lot of investment. But having multiple of them, having lots of different choices, maybe there's 5 or 6 mythical daggers, 5 or 6 mythical blades that one warrior might have one and one warrior might have the other, but they're all kind of sharing that epic quest kind of level of investment of time and rarity and all that stuff. So the answer to the question is yes, we plan to have them, and yes, we absolutely could go a very similar route of just having a specific epic weapon per class. Oh man, this is supposed to be something different. Yellow notepad.
Well, I discovered
What did you find
a
now?
faction. I went up the ladder and found Source. Oh, wow.
I knew they were up there. I
It's
just
a boy,
didn't know what
so
they were
sorcerer.
for. It's not intended.
Oh, it's intended. It's just meant to be very different than this.
Oh, yeah. They're just standing.
It's not an aggressive NPC, but it's not supposed to be this model, and there's a lot to this. So
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I discovered a faction, so I feel happy about that.
Well, Joppa, to
The
add to
Wanderer's
the epic
Lost.
weapons, I did have an opinion on it since you were, wanting to raise the
I
community on it.
have an opinion too. Go for it, Malcolm.
As a lover
Ravager,
of EverQuest,
Ravager.
I truly admire the class-only epic weapons. I think, it being difficult and it being powerful for that individual class is kind of like a rite of passage. You can tailor them to that one class, and it's like making a new skill for them, but it's in the form of an item. And I feel like if you extend it to just multiple classes, it's just not as iconic. Having that, just think how iconic Celestial Fist is, or you lose a lot of it if it's like multiple classes, because then there's multiple different classes that might have that same item.
Could there be like a mix of both? Like
That's
maybe every class has one, but then there's like mini epics that you get that are substantially hard to get, but maybe they're easier than your class defining one or something.
They could be like the archetype level, like maybe everybody's epic quest starts as one thing, and then you ascend that particular starter one that's shared to making it iconic. Like every melee type could end up with something, and it turns into something else.
Final Fantasy XIV has steps on theirs. With Final Fantasy XIV, though, every class that they have in the game is restricted to like one particular weapon type, so they're not sharing. But there's, you go through steps where you get like the cool sword, the cooler sword with particles, the even cooler sword with like more particles. They kind of go through like steps.
That's one kind of like along the lines where I was thinking too, because one of the things that I think was actually a drawback to most of the EverQuest epics, not all of them, because some of them actually had these like pre-final awards, like the Fiery Avenger and the Fiery Defender, the Shadow Knight epic. They had these awards that you get on the way to the epic. And so and a lot of those were actually usable by multiple classes, and then in themselves, while they kind of, failed in a little bit to become as iconic as they could have been, they served this middle ground between like the finality of the epic and this is still you're on this epic quest and you've gotten this incredible item. And so like these incredible items that could potentially be used by multiple quests and then branch out into class epic quests. But the downside that I'm immediately thinking of in my head is this is a small team, and that's a lot to do, to put that together, to put those kind of epic quests together. I know there's anecdotes from other games that opted not to do epic quests because of the return on investment, kind of like starting cities, and how it's a heavy lift. So like it's one of those, I can see both ways in a sense with it, but it's also iconic items go beyond just that, like just games. They like when I started writing for my next fantasy novel, the first thing I did before I even started any world building was build out this whole list of names for epic items. And yes, in part that's because I played Everquest, so I remember epic quests. But items themselves can have their own identity. They can become their own characters in a story, and they can be such a powerful way to deliver in-game lore as well. That, I mean, as long as that component's there, if it's like a Shadow Knight or a Dire Lord and a Paladin can use the same thing, but maybe it gets corrupted by the Dire Lord and like has a different effect on it or something, versus being wielded by a Paladin. Maybe that's a different way. Like maybe the Paladin gets the same weapon and they have to purify it, kind of thing. So they have that stuff that the Dire Lord doesn't.
I guess that's what your explanation there is kind of where my head was originally, which is that the idea of epic weapons is less about like, it's less class
I'm gonna pull them over
focused.
here.
And again, this is just a thought exercise, so this is not like indicative of any specific way of going necessarily. It's just a thought exercise, but it is very much in line with that idea that these are items that they're weapons, they're pieces of armor that in and of themselves have their own identity.
Yes.
Like Sting from Lord of the Rings. Like it's not a rogue only item. It's the item itself that is the identity, that has the backstory, that has like the place in the world and all that stuff. And the reason that it feels like a meaningful thought exercise is the struggle I have with epic weapons is that, again, it's the finality. Like once you've gone through all of this struggle and pain and effort to receive this item, like how do you upgrade it? And if you have a path of upgrading it where like EQ eventually had like Epic 2.0 and like all these kind of graduating manifestations of that epic weapon, it's like you're now kind of like that's your weapon. Like that's the only real weapon and the only real kind of thing that you're engaging with. Whereas again, to go back to like some of the deeper combat mechanics with Pantheon, like I love the idea of there being several iconic epic weapons that a class might want to get that have different strengths and different weaknesses in different, potentially in different situations. So you're not only always, wielding the Blade of Carnage and that like different graduating expressions of the Blade of Carnage because you're a warrior and that's what you use because that's your epic weapon. But it's like, no, I've got a collection of these 4 epic weapons, and this one has, the soul of, the long lost warlord in it. I mean, they're all warrior themed. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe there's multiple epic weapons, which, only goes back into the, the multiplier on the work, involved to have something like that. But you know what I mean? Like that's kind of,
Perhaps the like when you go to replace it, like you start another epic quest, but you have to give up your possession.
Did you just
to acquire the new one?
Oh,
you can get back up. There's a ladder.
okay. I was like, oh no.
It's like just
so that you're not always holding on to it. Make it at a power level that's desirable, and like you said, potentially more options for each class. That I mean, if that's something the team could do, is to make even more than one epic. But
I have
then you give it up.
I have an alternative because I believe this is something Pantheon was planning. I'm not entirely sure if it's still the plan, but weren't there supposed to be iconic abilities that you would go out into the world and find a trainer or something like that? And so like the items themselves, and like one of the downsides to EverQuest epics was they became the default. So every at least for a little while until they got replaced, every ranger had the 2 swords, and then every rogue had Ragebringer until it got replaced, and some epics got replaced much sooner than others, and like the cleric epic just stayed because of its effect, but then other epics got replaced very quickly, or they just became you have to use this and nothing else. So maybe the class defining part of that epic is actually the abilities you get through that and then the items themselves are more items, like their identity is the item itself being an epic item that's usable by a couple different people, but then the abilities are am I making sense? I think.
Yeah.
Rather
Well, to
go
get-
for like an epic ability rather than an epic item as much.
Yeah,
Like the
which
item
is what EverQuest
like,
2 did.
Nice.
Kind of.
It's nice, but it's not like you're mostly going for the ability. Or maybe you could like, if we're worried about you get the epic. This is something that Joppa just said. We're worried about like, well, if you get this one weapon, you don't care about weapons ever again.
Yeah.
Right, because it could never be replaced. Well, I mean, it just depends on the design direction afterwards. Like, you could trade it in for something else, something better. You have to make that choice.
Totally,
It's
you totally
player
could,
choice.
but it's like, does the rest of the progression of your item from that point on always have to do with kind of something you're doing with this epic? And maybe for some players that's totally cool. For me, I've just wondered, like, is it?
Does it have to though? I don't feel like it has to.
It doesn't have to, but it's like, when is the appropriate time to kind of going back to the discussion I was having earlier on stream today, where I was saying like I don't ever want like an uncommon item, to ever overpower or overshadow a rare magical, item that you've really worked hard and or gotten super lucky to get, kind of thing. I don't ever want just an uncommon item to overshadow that. So it's the idea of like, if you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into getting this epic item, this epic weapon, but then like, does that mean that we can't ever at any point introduce more powerful items that aren't on that level that overshadow it, however many expansions down the road? Not that we're interested in like, being super heavy-handed with our expansion
I don't
progression.
think it could overshadow it in like one way, but maybe not another. Like maybe it doesn't have the same effect, but maybe the stats or the ratio could be comparable. That's kind of how like EverQuest would have done it, essentially. Like, because like the epic weapon clicks were still valuable, but the ratios were so low, you would stop equipping them.
But not even all of them. So like, I mean, for example, the Shadow Knight and Paladin epics, they got replaced even before even before Classic was over, they got replaced. And I think that's part of
The right click effects on items. What's the problem when you equip them? Like, you go to right click, it equips, it doesn't cast.
Yeah.
To get around that, you could of course, have it require that you equip it to cast it.
Well, if you equip
Because
it
once
and
you
you right-click it,
right-click-
it'll take it back off, right? Like it'll,
Will it? I hadn't tried that.
yeah.
Well, you could change that.
We could, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying on the stream is we need to add like a modifier button or something with the right click to allow you to have equipped clickies and not just unequip them when you try to click them.
Do y'all think that each of like the starting cities could have their own like epic weapon?
Oh, there
in
you
a
go.
sense? Like each of the starting cities has their sacred weapon of their city that is important.
like the Kinos Claymore.
Yeah, the Kinos Claymore was what I was thinking of, or like Furiona V had her little staff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
thinking of
that's
the
like-
Pokemon gyms.
That's kind of in line with what I was getting
Yeah.
at, where it's more about just these iconic, epic, mythical weapons that exist in the world, and you might decide, hey, I really want to go after that. I really want to get that, and that way you can create a variety of different weapons that are very powerful, very iconic, very difficult to get, but it's not your forever weapon. And in fact, you would be incentivized to want to grab different ones because the design isn't to make it the ultimate weapon.
So, I guess, rather than epic weapons, I know you want to make relics like really unique. If you don't want a weapon to be like pigeonholed to an epic, what about perhaps the relic slot being the epic slot? Because you could make competitive items in that slot, because you can like variate what they do.
Well, and the truth is, like, any item can be epic. Like anything can be quote unquote epic. It depends on how we define that. If we define an epic item as being very difficult to get because it's extremely time consuming. It's based on, very difficult, rare camps with rare items, rare spawns, rare drops. There's raid, aspects of it where you have to have the help of guilds and, large scale battles and getting the drops. And there's lots of stages to all the pieces you need ultimately to acquire it. Like anything ultimately could technically be on the other side of that as a reward. I think abilities is a big one because abilities is something every class is going to want to reach for. It's going to be part, and that's the kind of thing where it is like, yes, like you are a cleric. If there's an epic ability or 2 or 3 out there that require epic quests to obtain, absolutely you're going to do that. And then once you have that ability, it's like, yeah, that sticks with you. It's something that is always now part of your arsenal, and there's never a sense of like needing to find something better than that. You can always just employ ranks of it. The items just feel a little different. I don't know. And again, I could be way off here, guys. Like I know epic weapons are a huge thing from EQ that a lot of people loved, and I want some really good feedback on this overall before we make any final decisions.
It's a major thing. Like, woo. I was so excited for it when you mentioned it before.
I think it's going to be an interesting.
The plan is to do that. I mean, and you'll notice with me, that's a lot of how I discuss these things. Is I kind of come at it from like the angle of what if we didn't. But the reality is, as of right now, the plan absolutely is just to have a very similar approach with epic weapons. Very similar to how EQ did it. I'm more just putting it out there to say.
I guess. To add to it, Joppa.
Yeah.
No matter how powerful you make them, they will eventually have to be replaced. Doesn't always have to be with a rare item. There are common-ish items in just a few expansions down the road that replace epic items. But the effects that they give you, the clicky effects, sometimes could last for years, like 10 years down the road worth of expansions. Everquest speaking. Doesn't have to in Pantheon, of course, but just, perspective.
If an effect is powerful enough, if it's percentage based and things like that, it will.
Or a clicky res. It's mana free. It's
or
forever.
like the Shadow Knight 2.0 has a group life tap thing. It's huge, and continues to be used.
We're still using 2.0s.
Yeah.
At level 130 in Everquest, or 125, whatever it is. It's 125.
But as engaging as this has been and wonderful as it has been, I want to respect Joppa's time, so I think this is probably a good place to end it. I do, however, have one very, very important question for you, Joppa.
Please.
When are we gonna play EQ Guesser again on your streams? Because that is the most important question that we could ask this stream.
You're right. I feel like it's almost ceremonial answering this. It's funny. I actually thought about doing that today, before we started. And this is an interesting aspect of, growing as a streamer, because when we were first doing EQ Guesser, it seems like a really long time ago. It wasn't all that long ago, but we were a pretty small community at that point. We've grown pretty sizably, and so it's been like a thought of mine is how many people know what Everquest is, how many people would really resonate with and enjoy this. And I thought about, well, if we did a round of EQ Guesser and then maybe a round of WoW Guesser, I think that might cover most of our bases, and then we could just kind of get back in the habit of having like maybe some community requested other things that we do. I think there was we did Wordle for a little bit. We did the Song Guesser. I know this question's about EQ Guesser. So
I think you might at this point crash the site playing EQ Guesser. So.
I think he wants to say soon, but he just doesn't want to say soon.
Soon to you.
I love playing EQ Guesser. That's literally it was a highlight for me when we used to do that as a stream.
EQ Guesser Thursdays. Done.
Just do it. Just do it.
That is a good segue into this because I want to point out that everyone on this call is a content creator in their own right, including Joppa Vash, who is, yes, the creator director of Pantheon, but is also a streamer as well. So go check him out. Check out all of these people. I'll have links down below. There are links that are going to be all over the video at the beginning and the end, so check them out for sure. But Joppa, thank you so much for your time. Everyone on the call, thank you as well.
Thank you, Joppa. Thank you, Joppa.
Thanks, Joppa.
Thanks,
Thank you
Joppa.
guys. This was awesome.
Let's do this again soon.
Yeah.